One of the things I like to do in class is show how powerful assumptions are. So I typically will do a sensitivity analysis. In this particular analysis, we're going to trade off the fuel savings associated with electric vehicles with the cheaper cost of internal combustion engines. And so let's go ahead and start a new chat. And so let's just type that in, start a new chat, and that will go forward. And there's not a data file because we're going to kind of submit everything we want. But we're going to start with a prompt. It says if I had an electric vehicle that had a certain level of efficiency and the cost was 8 cents per kilowatt hour, and I want to compare that to an internal combustion engine, and here's its efficiency is 30 miles per gallon, and the cost of gas is $3.50 per gallon. And so I want to do a trade-off there, and I'm just kind of setting out what the parameters are. And it's going to go down and just say kind of how much the cost per mile is. So electric vehicles cost is 2 cents per mile. For a gas car, it's 12 cents a mile, and so we can see that side by side. And what I'm really interested in is what the trade-off for cost is. So I want to determine how much more I'm willing to pay for an electric vehicle over time. And so that kind of says, okay, what's a realistic scenario? And the realistic scenario is we're going to say 15,000 miles per year for 5 years. Now, could be more or less than that, but let's go ahead and say I drive 15,000 miles per year for 5 years, and so I'm asking it to compute what the savings would be. And it says there's 7,300 in fuel savings. I'd like to do some sensitivity analysis associated with that and vary some things. You know, the cost of gas is going to go up and down, and depending on the electric vehicle I purchase, you know, it's going to have different level of efficiency, anywhere from 2.5 to 4.5 miles per kilowatt hour. And on the other side, for internal combustion engines, the price of gas variables is going to go, price of gas per gallon is going to go from 250 to 425, depending on where you live and what the state of the economy is and other things going on. So let's go ahead and ask it for a heat map where it's going to take into account those assumptions that are being made and give a range. Generally, a heat map or sensitivity analysis, or within Excel, a data table does best with a 2x2. I mean, we say, okay, which assumptions are most important, and then we're going to evaluate that based on the assumptions. So this is pretty good. There's the heat map. You're going to kind of see how much that is, and this is in dollars per mile. But I'm interested in kind of the overall savings. And so if gas prices are low and the efficiency is low, then we're down here, and otherwise it's high. But I'm interested in the cash flows associated with it. And so, you know, here it says, hey, if you want to convert this into a second heat map showing total 5-year savings, and so that's what I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask, you know, could you please redraw the heat map to show dollar savings for each combination of assumptions? And then I'm going to go ahead and ask it, please show the dollar amounts associated with each cell. You can kind of see up here, I don't like this one quite as much because it's just kind of all over the place, and I guess I like seeing the numbers, so let's see if we can encourage ChatGPT to give us those numbers. So the formatting here isn't perfect or pretty, but you can kind of see what it would be in each range of assumptions over here. We could probably ask it to redraw it, or even if we downloaded it, perhaps it would give us a clearer figure. But we can see, like, hey, if I have a 4.2 level of efficiency and gas is 325, I can see what the savings would be. What I'm interested in is how much more am I willing to pay for an electric vehicle based on fuel savings. Now there's other things to consider. Maybe range anxiety, I don't want to be going somewhere and run out of electricity, or maybe the fuel costs, the electric charge is going to be that much higher if I'm doing it on the road. So there's a lot of other things to kind of consider. They also mentioned that electric vehicles require less maintenance. I guess that's all true unless the battery goes out. What I want to do now is not just know the undiscounted cash flows over the period of time, but I'd like to show a present value of the dollar savings. And I'm going to assume a 6% cost of capital. And so what I'm trying to do is say, okay, as of the date that I'm actually purchasing this electric vehicle, what's the present value of savings as of that date, making these various assumptions. And so I'm going to ask it to redraw the heat map and show that there. So again, the visual isn't very pleasing. It doesn't fit in perfectly, but this is discounted. And so if I went back up and saw the undiscounted cash flows, I can see, for example, this top right would be 92.91, and the top right here would be 78.27. And we could go do the math and just see if that is actually working. So that would be the present value of the savings at that point. Now, there's a lot of things we could add on. We could say instead of 15,000 per year, how about 20,000 miles per year? And how about it lasts, instead of 5 years, how about it lasts 10 years? And so we can do those various things to take a look and see what the trade-off might be. So that completes this lab.